Hello, and welcome to Reality TV News Update, where you'll find the most recent news, entertaining moments, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. The world of Big Brother 27 has never been devoid of drama, but few storylines have captivated viewers as much as the emotional rift that developed between Vince Panaro and Morgan Pope. The couple's relationship, which had been hailed as one of the season's strongest showmances, took a dark turn when there were rumors of a cheatmance. These rumors suggested that Vince had been romantically involved with another house guest while still being publicly committed to Morgan. Morgan Pope is finally speaking out, many weeks after the season ended. The Big Brother finalist talked openly and with emotion in an exclusive interview with TV Beat Online about how she became the primary target of fan backlash, despite the fact that she said she did nothing wrong. The rise of a fan-favorite couple. When Big Brother 27 first aired, few could have predicted the chemistry that quickly developed between Austin's 26-year-old marketing professional Morgan Pope and Chicago's 29-year-old fitness entrepreneur Vince Panaro. During the first week of the Head of Household competition, the two quickly became close friends and soon fell in love. Their relationship developed into one of the season's most important plot points. Fans adored the couple and dubbed them Vorgan online for everything from strategy whispers at night to flirtatious kitchen banter. Their partnership appeared to be as emotional as it was strategic, and their chemistry was undeniable. Nevertheless, tension was rising behind the scenes. People in the house started whispering that Vince might not have been completely honest about his relationships outside of the house. In addition, keen viewers of the live feed noticed indications that something was off between the two as the season progressed. The allegations of Cheatmance surface. At the halfway point of the season, everything changed. During a heated live feed moment, contestant Riley Jeffries accused Vince of playing two games, one for the money and one with hearts. Fans searched through video footage for clues after the accusation sparked a flurry of speculative activity on the internet. A video that showed Vince having a late-night conversation with Kelsey Monroe, a fellow house guest, and what appeared to be an intimate moment brought the controversy to a new level. Fans were quick to label the footage as evidence of a cheatmance, despite the fact that it did not contain any explicit content. In her interview, Morgan recalled, "I remember waking up the next morning to my phone blowing up. My family was telling me that Twitter was raging and that people were calling me stupid and naive. It was embarrassing. However, the fact that people mistook me for the problem and assumed that I was only speaking out of a desire for attention was even more devastating." Morgan says she received the worst of the blame. Vince kept his mouth shut and made vague statements about miscommunication and emotional confusion as the controversy grew. However, Morgan, who was still inside the house, was unable to defend herself from the torrent of online vitriol. Morgan acknowledged, "I think I received the worst of it. I was referred to by every name in the book. I was blamed for either staying with him to protect my game or not seeing the signs. But the truth is that I didn't know everything. No one did." Morgan was devastated when she finally got kicked out and saw the full scope of what fans were saying online. Her social media was inundated with hateful screenshots, with some people accusing her of being complicit or faking crying for sympathy. She confessed, "It broke me. Imagine leaving this intense, closed environment where you haven't been online for months and finding that your phone is flooded with thousands of strangers telling you that you deserved to be cheated on. I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone." The response to Vince Panaro's defense and the reaction that followed. For his part, Vince Panaro initially attempted to downplay the situation. He told fans in an Instagram Live after the season that a lot of things were exaggerated and that he and Morgan had privately talked about what had happened. However, his response, according to many fans, lacked accountability. Backlash grew when he later admitted that he and Kelsey had an emotional connection. Despite Vince's claim that it wasn't romantic, fans said that he gaslighted Morgan and the audience. One fan wrote on Twitter, "Morgan didn't deserve any of that. Vince threw her under the bus to save face because she played a loyal game." public opinion began to shift in Morgan's favor as the narrative developed. She was viewed as not the blind girlfriend, but rather the woman who gracefully withstood public humiliation while the man at the center of the scandal attempted to move on without being punished. Morgan's journey to emotional healing. Morgan acknowledged in the interview that the days and weeks that followed her eviction were some of the most trying of her life. She stated, "I had to step away from everything, including interviews, social media, and the fandom. Reminding myself that I wasn't the bad guy here took therapy, time, and a lot of support from my real friends." She also credited a number of former Big Brother contestants who privately communicated their support. She stated, "People like Kaylor Hale and Alyssa Snyder were amazing. They reminded me that being a woman on reality television often entails being held accountable for things that are not your fault. It's almost as though the general public expects us to be perfect, and when we aren't, they tear us apart." Directly addressing Vince Panaro. The part of Morgan's interview where she spoke directly about Vince may have been the most striking. She said slowly, "I've had time to process it all, and I don't hate him, but I can't hide the fact that he hurt me, not only as a partner, but also as a friend and teammate. He let me believe something that wasn't true because he understood how much I valued honesty." Morgan hesitated when asked if the two had spoken since the season ended. She stated, "Yes, we've talked, but not in the way that people think. There is no reunion or renewal. It brought closure. Before moving on, we both needed to say our part. I wish him the best and believe he is still figuring himself out, but not with me." Morgan is rallied by the fans. Morgan has received an overwhelming outpouring of support since speaking out. Within hours of the release of her interview, hashtags like "Justice for Morgan" and "Team Pope" became popular on social media. Her vulnerability and maturity in handling such a public betrayal were praised by fans. One TikTok user remarked, "She's handled this with so much class." Morgan deserves better, and Vince should be embarrassed. Morgan's side of the story shifted their perspective according to at least some of Vince's former supporters. On Reddit, one Big Brother superfan wrote, "I was a huge Vince fan. However, I now realize how unfair the backlash was after hearing what Morgan went through. She was the real one who was hurt by the edit and the fandom's cruelty." Message from Morgan to upcoming reality stars. Morgan offered advice toward the end of her interview to anyone considering a career in reality television, particularly women. She advised, "Know who you are before you go in, because everyone else will attempt to define you as soon as you enter that house. You will be referred to as the villain, the flirt, the crybaby, and the fool, at times simultaneously. But you must adhere to your truth." She also expressed the hope that after the show ended, producers would do more to protect contestants from online harassment. She stated, "It's entertainment for viewers, but it's real life for us. We experience real feelings, real pain, and real trauma. They ought to at least take precautions to prevent us from being destroyed by it." Where Morgan is currently. Morgan is currently focusing on reestablishing her career and life outside of Big Brother. She's been working on mental health awareness campaigns with a number of brands and is considering starting her own podcast about women's empowerment and reality TV culture. She stated, "I want to use what happened to me for something good. It will be worth it if my story shows even one person that they don't have to accept being treated poorly, whether in a relationship, at work, or on TV." And how is her relationship going? When asked, Morgan knowingly smiled. She confirmed, "I'm not married, and to be honest, I've never been happier. I found that love does not have to come from another individual to be real. It can also come from healing." A reminder of strength and worth. Morgan Pope's story is ultimately about perseverance. She came into the house as a hopeful romantic, but she left as a woman who overcame public humiliation and a media storm and emerged stronger. Morgan Pope has reclaimed her narrative, and she's refusing to let anyone but herself define her story, even as fans continue to debate the consequences of Vince Panaro's Cheatmance. She said softly, "I didn't deserve the hate, but I'm grateful for the growth." Sometimes the most devastating losses reveal the most about who you really are. And with that, Morgan Pope officially turned the page, entering a new chapter marked not by scandal, but by self-respect and strength rather than the chaos of Big Brother 27.